Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Very rarely do we ever get an opportunity to purchase a stock that is bleeding into a particular zone where the price immediately reverses off of. In fact, most tickers will only give you this opportunity maybe once a year, and that is what makes trading very difficult. People do not have the patience to sit on the sidelines, and in this case with NVIDIA, I have seen that setup form 3 times in the last 5 years, and the fourth time is setting up right now as we speak. Now, I do want you to understand that we are up about 2000% from the 2022 lows, so the stock is supposed to slow down on its uptrend. I cannot guarantee you that we will reverse here for sure, but I can tell you that I'll walk you through the last 3 setups and you can see the consistency that the fourth setup is forming. This tells me that there's a very high probability that we will reverse off of this exact zone one more time. So if you are a long-term believer in NVIDIA, somebody who's trying to dollar cost average in, somebody who's trying to start a position and has understood the fundamentals, and if you're just looking for a good entry where the risk reward is skewed to the upside, let me walk you through this. Let's start with the last 3 setups. Let's start all the way back from 2022. The first one was very simple. I remember watching this live, never took this trade, never believed in NVIDIA at that time, but the setup is very simple. It is a head and shoulder setup right here. We created the left shoulder, the head, and then the right shoulder. We also printed this high quality bullish weekly candle, and since then we have never retraced back to any of these levels again. So that was the first impulsive move as AI was coming around, and this is the exact time frame when SPY was also bottoming out. If you overlap the SPY chart on top of this, you'll realize that SPY was following the same exact pattern, up, down, and eventually we bottomed out at SPX 3500, and this is exactly where NVIDIA also bottomed out. So that was setup number one. Let's talk about setup number two. We started to make our way up. You would hope that the market retraces some of these levels, but we don't, and this is where we start to consolidate one more time. I want to draw a line right here because this is the level that the market was trying to hold up. Notice we bounced here once, twice. We tried to bounce here closer to it. The third time, you can also create an uptrending line here if you choose to. But notice that this particular candle swept both of these setups, the uptrending line and the sideways, and flushed the liquidity, ran stop losses, and then reversed back up again. And this setup works because you see the old buyers are getting out in this price point because the price is not breaking out above this area and new buyers are coming in. We form a support area that shows that, hey, there's demand around $40 region, but we also created a zone that if we go below it, when you look at that chart live at that time, it feels like the floor is about to get taken out. Right then, we see an imbalance of demand and supply. You see all the people who were trying to day trade this or were fearful of NVIDIA get stopped out, and institutional money comes in, and then the stock reverses back, never to look back at the same prices again. Let's zoom out here for setup number three. If I was watching the stock for setup number three, I will draw a line here first, hoping that this level gets taken out. Then I would draw one here, and then one here. And if you zoom in a little bit, let's say we don't know what's happening on the other side of it. If I'm just looking at this, I'm hoping that any of these levels get swept, stop losses go off, we see an influx of volume, and then the market reverses again. And in the best case scenario, you want this to happen at the same time as SPY or QQQ is retracing back to some of their older levels again. And this happened during the tariff tantrum. I remember the stock swept these two levels. We got below 90. Wix was shooting up, and I remember taking this trade. I went long here. I also went long a few other things and sold at the prior highs. It was just a swing trade for me. But I want you to see the consistency here. We did the same exact thing as we did on setup number two. We swept the previous key level, stopped everybody out. I remember Twitter absolutely going crazy. Everybody was panicking, and weak hands got shaken out, and institutional money came in just like they always do at key levels on good quality companies, and the stock ran back up again. Now we come to 2026. What are we looking at here? I'm looking at this key level here, which did not break. In fact, we formed double bottom here, and I'm not a big fan of double bottom. I personally believe that double bottoms always get taken out. They're just there to attract liquidity, make buyers believe that the support has held. It captures more buyers on the way up, and then eventually retraces back down. I also want to draw another line right around here, because this was the rejection zone that we formed in November of 2025. Then I also want to draw a line here, because once we did break out above it, we rejected again. So there is a supply here that is getting filled. Every time the stock pushes into this zone, the stock retraces back lower. And there is no exact resistance line, because this is just how tops form. And you can see that pattern here as well. We created this first high, then we broke above it, and we kept resisting this level, and eventually we rejected this zone and came back down again, swept liquidity, and then moved back up again. So that's what I'm looking for on NVIDIA. This is not a play I'm going to take, because as I already mentioned, we have pushed up from 2022 all the way to 2026 about 2,000%. This is not my type of play, but if you are looking to dollar cost average into the stock, there will be a moment where out of nowhere all hell breaks loose. NVIDIA retraces back below 164, and all of a sudden, well, we're here and the price looks very cheap. Most people are panicking out, but you who prepared ahead of time will be dollar cost averaging into it. Another reason I don't want to take this trade is because I do think eventually down the road this bull cycle will end. We will come down to retrace some of the older levels, and that might be a long way from now. But these things don't play out just like this in an instant impact. We will probably see a rejection here, liquidity flush this zone, push back up again, reject again, and then come back lower, up again, maybe down, and then consolidate sideways somehow, chop around, and then reverse back up again. This is how cycles go overall. But I'm just playing a zone over here, just playing a level. But the only one thing I'm sure about is that 165 will get taken out. If not today, if not next month, 4, 5, 6 months, we will see this level retrace again. There are no promises in the stock market, but if you backtest your strategy enough, and I've also shown you enough proof in the last 2-3 times this has happened, that NVIDIA likes to do this type of stuff. We don't need to know the exact path of where NVIDIA will be in 6 to 12 months, right? We just need to know what is the next step, and once the chart starts forming and developing into a new structure, we'll take it one step at a time. Once we do flush under 165, I will most likely create another video to give you an update of where I see the stock next. We might have a total different market dynamics by then, but I do think that by the time midterm, drawdown of 5, 10, 15% come around during October time or September, November, let's see when that happens. Or if that happens, that's when NVIDIA will get this flush and that will line up with everything. So with that being said, I hope you found value in this video. Please like, subscribe to the channel, and I will catch you on the next one. Thank you for watching.